going to put the collard greens, and then we're going to have our rib over that. But I also made some marinated cucumbers with chili crunch, ponzu, and fish sauce. Normal stuff, bi-monthly meeting and pain management since I'm a chronic pain. Got it. Well, there you go. AKA paperwork circle jerk. Well, all the insurance stuff on it, I'm sure. Always a good time, At least you did it. You're on top of your stuff. That's what's important right now. That's what's important. I'm glad you're always on top of your stuff, man. Side dish more beautiful than anything I could make as a main. You are a god. I am no such thing. I am no such thing. I will never claim to be a god. By the way, South Sandwich Islands, you've got 4 minutes or 5 minutes until 420. All of you, if you want to celebrate 420, let's get in on this. But Scarlet Cloud.
5 minutes until 4:20.
I say this to everybody.
5 minutes until 4:20.
Thank you, Tree Farmer. I say this to everybody when they come in here, and they talk about themselves in a way that's like, I could never do that. But Father Brucifer says you're a god. No, they do not. Brucifer is a beautiful
5
individual.
minutes until 4:20. 5 minutes
look.
until 4:20.
I say this to everybody. If you want to cook, just cook. Find one dish. Find the one dish that you're like, you know what? This holds a significant meaning in the sense of like family, like your grandmother made it, your mother made it. It was something you and your siblings ate at kids that you bonded over. Whatever it was, whatever dish that really stands out in your memory, make it. You're going to fail. Overall, little ways, that kind of shit. But if you can just say, fuck it, I'm going to make this, and you make it, and you're like, I'm going to make it again, and you make it again, and you make it again, and you make it again. Not say every night, but maybe like once a week, you do a thing where you're like, I'm going to work on this one dish for this month, and I'm going to look at each one that I've done, how I've adjusted and made it, and how it's changed, and how I've gotten better as a cook. And then, at the end of that month, you're going to remember this conversation, and you're going to come back, and you're going to say, Bubs, I just made this dish for the 4th time this month, and is it perfect yet? No. Is it better than when I started? Yes. Am I a better cook from when I started making that? Yes. But yes, that goes wasted time. That goes exactly into it. Because you're going to start having fun. Because you're going to be like, oh man, I'm getting really good at this dish. I can't wait. I love reading Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast, by the way. Appreciate that recommendation. It really changed how I look at bread recipes. Karmic Bob, it is one of the best bread books out there. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If anybody has a bad take on that book, it's because they have a bad take on bread. I'm sorry. That book is a fucking amazing. Not to say that it's the tell-all. It's not like the best book that you can get, but it's one of. Nailed it last time. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You did a good job, but you can make it better. Look, that's the point that I drive home. I don't think you did nail it. But I don't mean that in a negative context. I mean that in you could make it better. As a chef, you're trained to look at everything you did and look at it and say, you cannot finish this dish without finding 5 things wrong with it. That is how every chef eats a meal. I do not eat this dish thinking it is the best dish that I've ever created. I'm going to eat this dish and find things wrong. Maybe not wrong, but things that I can bring up. So not to say that you didn't fucking crush it, but I bet you could make it better than you did. I didn't know about the delta fly between flour wheat source in Europe versus, and now the recipe in Europe direct translates to States. Yes. Yeah, wheat in Europe versus wheat in the U.S. is very different. That's why so many people talk about having gluten allergies in the United States and then going to Europe and not having any gluten allergies. Isn't that a lovely thing? Isn't that a lovely thing to think about? That you just go, oh, wheat cultivation and everything like that and how they treat it is so different in Europe that people who can't eat bread in Europe or can't eat bread in the United States can eat it in Europe? Yeah. We said yes. Yes, intentionally or just because it'll grow better. Scarlet Cloud, it is crazy. It is crazy. There's people that like, they document it. They're like, I could not eat bread. I came to Europe and I just wanted to try a fresh baguette. Also, happy 420! Or people in Europe that come to the States and they eat bread and they're like, what the fuck? The first time you bake bread here, yeah. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Was not surprised by the cheese in grocery store. Was most surprised by the cheese in the grocery store. Yeah, Kraft singles are fascinating. Yeah, they are fascinating. Kraft, yes. American cheese is fascinating. American cheese is fascinating. Bob, we all know that McDonald's isn't the problem. Stop eating at McDonald's. Well, yeah, okay. If only things were as simple as that. If it was only as simple as stop eating fast food, but we all know it's not. We all know it's not. It's not as simple as don't eat fast food. And in some areas where they have horrible, like it's basically what's called a food desert, which means all you have is, you either just don't have, like you've got Quickie Mart grocery stores kind of thing, or, which has more canned goods and dry goods. They don't have a lot of fresh produce, or you live in an area where they just have fast food places and chain restaurants and stuff like that. It's not great. I don't mean desert in a literal sense, Bob. I work from home, so I make all my meals. See, there you go. Its wrapper is not much different than cheese. Yes, exactly. When I was a kid, the neighbor made me a grilled cheese and forgot to Farmer, are you kidding? Oh, God. One day, those motherfuckers are going to smarten up. They're just going to wrap that shit in a cellulose thing. So you can eat the wrapper. They're like, look, you don't need to peel it off anymore. It is just edible, but it's also sugar, Not kidding. The whole slice came, yeah, I'll bet it did. One melty bite. Cottage cheese snack packs and baby carrots. Oh, I can't do cottage cheese. I just can't. I work from home, but I eat like a toddler. Yeah, see, like, snacky, like, that's Jess. When Jess works from home, she's snacky. She's Princess Snack Attack, okay? She will have the carrots, then she goes for the cheese balls, like the puffs, the Cheeto puffs, the kind of thing. All that shit. I will make food. I have to make food. If I don't, she's just Princess Snack Attack all day. And I'm like, no! That's what I mean. We got to cut up a bunch of vegetables, fucking do all that shit. So it's just like when you go in the fridge, you eat those vegetables. You eat that shit. I'm addicted to Asian trail mix that Aldi sells. What is in the trail mix? She is me. We are all Prince. We are all people snackies. Okay. People of Snackatakia. Okay? We are all people of Snackatakia. Snackatakia being the mythical land where you all just eat snacks all day. Okay? We're all the princesses and princes and dukes and duchesses and all any title you want to give yourself of Snackatakia, that's what you are. Oh, the Costco trail mix. You gotta be so careful with that stuff. Wasabi peas, almonds, peanuts, and Japanese peanut. Oh my God. Yeah, tree farmer, I know exactly what you're talking about. Those are dangerous mixes. I'll study the cultural social impacts of eating habits. You can do that now. There's books on it. You just read them. It's the same thing. Eating habits? Man, that's just reading about cultural diets in different cultures. You got to understand that before you can understand present time. Motherfucker, there's this tiny little fly that's been buzzing around the house. I've been this close to getting it every time. It always tends to land on things that I can't just come down on, you know? It's always just like, all right, you dick. All right, you dick. I'm going to go check on the dogs really quick. Hi, buddy. Hey, dude, you're just laying there. Yeah, good boy. Sirius is doing very well. Karmic, perfect timing. Sirius is doing very well. He, you know, he's not in a ton of pain, but he is whining occasionally. He's walking around. He's running outside based, you know, like as much as running as he can do right now. We don't want him to go too crazy. We're like, hey, you know, slow down, dude. Like, you're not in that moment yet. You got like a week left. They said we're taking his staples out after day 10. So that's what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So like basically either Monday or Tuesday next week, he gets his staples out. Which is amazing. For those of you who don't know, my dog Sirius recently, like in the past like month and a half, we discovered a lump, took him in, got it checked, and it was cancerous. It didn't spread or anything, but it was in a place where cutting it out and chemo and all that would have been an extensive fucking thing. So we amputated the arm or the leg. Still expensive, but the other route would have been really hard on him physically. Financially, it would have been a really hard choice to make because it's a lot of money, you know. But he's already up, running around, doing his thing. He pees on his own. He goes to the bathroom. He's fine. There's no like indication that it's infected or anything like that. So he's taking his pills fine. And that video posted, yeah, Charlie, like, and that was the next morning, less than 24 hours. So he definitely like will go and he's like running outside and he's hopping along and he's like, you can see he's just like, yeah. And then he'll do something and he's like, ooh, like he barked. Like somebody walked by the gate and he barked and he like yelped. And I was like, yeah, buddy, don't do that. The barking is not good for, like, you're not like, you can't tense up and like, because like that vibrates his whole body. And he learned that quickly. So for right now, we've got a non-barking Sirius, which is crazy. Very crazy. But no, he's doing well. So he rests when he needs to. He lets us know when he needs to go out. He wants to do all the normal stuff, but we're not comfortable with him going upstairs yet. So I think once he gets his staples out, then I'm not going to be too worried about him going up and down the stairs. I think at that point, they're going to be like, yeah, now he can do that. But that's going to take some training too, because up and down stairs, Serious attack! Serious attack! But yeah, pretty soon he'll be back to his old self. Jess is actually going to invest in a prosthetic leg. So there's a company that they'll send you a mold, and you just mold that area of their shoulder and everything like that area of the body. Oh, I'll do one of those. And then they make a leg that's fitted to your dog. You don't use it for like every day, all day, but when you go out on walks and, just like if you're going to, if he's going to be doing more strenuous things, then we want to make sure that he's comfortable and not putting so much weight on, the back legs. So it's a worthy investment. The company's only been around for like 3 or 4 years. But the people that use this product are just like, oh my God, no, it's great. It's all 3D printed too. So it's like you send them the mold, they take the mold, they do a whole 3D printing thing, and then that's it. They send it out. Like the longest it takes is sending the mold, I imagine, because then it's like, okay, 3D print, boom, 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 done. You can customize colors and do all that. It's got a brace that goes around the dog. They do things for all animals too. They showed us a fucking turtle. Somebody had like a turtle that lost its leg, and they created something that you attach to the turtle shell. They 3D printed it, and it's a fucking little wheel where the leg was. So it just like pops up, and it's always like on its side that way. I was like, yo, that is fucking crazy. But I was like, how awesome that you can make it so inclusive for people who have all types of pets. Product statement for a 6-year-old, did it to give back. Wasting time. You're not alone in that. There's been a lot of people that I've heard. There's like Reddit groups where people who need prosthetics, they connect with other people who have 3D printing stuff, and they're like, look, we need this, but I can only print this, or so they have these groups that they print. Ooh, almost got them. They print all of the different parts that they need for a specific prosthetic, send it to the main person. That person assembles it, and then they like donate that. So it's like this group of people that just do this for people. And I'm like, that is the most inspiring and like positive thing I could ever think that exists in the world right now. Like, prosthetics cost a lot. But if people are just out there making prosthetics for people, like, and for kids and all that kind of stuff, it's amazing. 2 times a year, wasting time, that's amazing. Wasting time, that's beautiful. I love that shit. That's the kind of shit that just gives me hope in the world, Micromal, yeah, totally. Like humans being real people. All right, I'm going to say these collards are good. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. So we're going to turn the heat off. I'm going to put the lid on this just so everything's nice and trapped in there. That's for our collard greens. Now let's pull out our ribs. So I'm pretty sure those ribs are good. If something need like that, I've gotten letters from a few kids and cried like a baby. Oh, yeah, I mean, of course you did. But that's one of those things where it's just like, it's so nice to just do something that's bigger than yourself, right? You're not doing it because of the rewards, I guess, the concept of like someone out there in the world. It's just like, no, it's like, look, they're able to live a happier life, or they're able to have an easier time in life because I had the ability to help when I could. Then I just did what should have been done anyway, right? You have that ability and you know how to perform it. That's amazing. Good for you. Woo! All right, we're checking these out. Oh, baby. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, right? So that's so cool. And I know you've told us a bunch already that you're into the 3D printing stuff. So that shit's cool. That's another thing that I'm like, man, that'd be cool to get into. A 3D printer. Those things are cool, and they're getting more affordable now. That's like the big thing, right? Like 3D printers are not as expensive as they used to be. And there's different sizing and all that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. There we go. Some just braised adobo country ribs. Now what we're going to do here, I'm going to let them rest for right now. The sauce. Oh, Mike Hope. Mike Hope, we're gonna be doing some cool. What are your thoughts on 3D printed food? I think it's weird. Tree Farmer, were you not here the other day? Yo, Tree Farmer, this is so funny. Okay, this is funny only because it wasn't until just recently I really had any 3D printed food. I was unimpressed. I was unimpressed with the one that I did have. They basically 3D printed a snail shell and stuffed it with a whipped herbed goat cheese. And it was the cheese course for this meal that Jess and I had. And it was just fucking embarrassing. I was like, this ain't it. I'm sorry, this ain't it. Like, this is not impressive. I know that you're going for impressive, but it was like a sugar shell. It's not that it's gross. Here's the thing. Good food is made, but when you're doing something like that, yeah, it's edible. Yeah, pancake. If it's not edible materials, they're not going to serve it to you. It's sugar. They're using sugar as it. It's still in its infancy. Yeah, wasting time. And that's the thing. I feel like it's too... You better fucking nail it. That's all I'm saying. I really, really could give a fuck about 3D printed food if you're just going to do a shit job of it. Don't waste my fucking time. More importantly, don't waste my fucking money with your shitty product because you want to be cutting edge. It's like, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you make sure that your food is actually good before you make it cutting edge? Like, make sure you're not just throwing this idea in there and it's going to be